Welcome to the StriveScan College Launch Pad. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic panelists with us here today. The panel will last approximately 45 minutes. My name is Raina, and I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, we have a few housekeeping items to go over. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of many different sessions happening today and throughout this week, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website. This presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/launch. I'd now like to turn it over to our first presenter from the University of Melbourne.
Okay, good day, everyone. I'm Todd St. Vrain from the University of Melbourne, and welcome to our session on going abroad, studying opportunities in Australia, Canada, Ireland, and the UK. And today we have a multi-institution, multi-country panel to help share our perspectives. We'll be introducing ourselves shortly, telling you all of the reasons why to go abroad, how to go abroad, and also a spotlight on each of our countries and featuring our universities within those countries. Today, we're all members of ERNA, which is a group of the international universities with representatives based in North America to assist you in learning about your options to go abroad. So let's start with some introductions and also tie in why you should go abroad. So I am Todd St. Vrain, the University of Melbourne's North America manager, Australia University. And two reasons why I think you should go abroad is just for your own personal development. It's fun and exciting to explore new places, new food, especially after 2 years being stuck at home. It can be challenging going abroad, but from that, you're going to be learning about being resourceful, seeing things from different perspectives, and that's really great skills to have for life and your career. I'll now throw it to my colleague Emma in Canada to introduce herself and other reasons to go abroad.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Emma. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm a representative at the University of British Columbia, or UBC. A couple reasons why I think you should go abroad. Similarly, I think you can learn a lot more about the world by going abroad. You have a chance to learn not just in the classroom, but by living in a whole new country for an extended period of time is such a great experience. And also another reason is that oftentimes it is quite affordable and potentially even more affordable than some universities you might be looking at in the US. So I think that's another great plug for going abroad. I'll pass it over to Shannon.
Thanks, Emma. I'm Shannon with University College Dublin. I'm actually based in our New York City office, and I always advocate for students to consider studying abroad for their entire degree because of the opportunities and truly the doors that open for you, whether you're considering global career paths and living abroad eventually, or you want to come back to your hometown. Studying abroad and building those connections globally and the alumni connections that you would build from your international institution will always pay back, whether it's personally and you have goals of traveling in the future, or professionally and you want to be building a global network at a young age. There really are so many additional doors open to you. So you're all very welcome to learning more about this session. And I'm going to pass it over to my colleague from the University of Manchester.
Hello, my name is Anuli, and I'm representing the University of Manchester in Manchester, England. I think there's so many reasons, as my colleagues have said, why you should study abroad. And it's going to be, for me, the increased focus on your major. And I personally will elaborate on that extensively because of the way the UK is laid out, but I think it's a really great time for you to focus in on a subject that you're really passionate about, or maybe a career that you know you want to go into. And going abroad sometimes gives you that opportunity to just focus on that and less of the other stuff that you may or may not be so interested in studying. And I'll shoot it back over to Todd.
Great. So now that we've telling you why you should be going abroad, let's look at some of the options of how you can go abroad. first option is to do your entire bachelor's degree abroad, and that's going to be the main focus of our session today within that context. It can be a big challenge to go abroad for your entire degree, especially if you've never been outside the country before. So another option is you can study abroad as part of your experience at a US college or university. This could be a few weeks, it could be an entire semester or academic year, an internship abroad. If you're doing something for academic credit, it usually counts towards your degree back in the United States. So you're not adding additional time in how long it takes you to complete your degree. Another option that we would like to highlight is the Working Holiday Visa program, which is an option for Australia, Ireland, and the UK. So this is for young people, usually between the ages of 18 and 30, that you can come and work in the country for a year or more. It tends to be service jobs, but it's a way to finance going abroad, and it's a great way to get to know the country. And chances are that once you're there and spending a year, you're going to want to come back and be a full-time student, whether that's doing a gap year after high school and then going back for your undergraduate degree. Sometimes people transfer in or they come back for study abroad or graduate study. The working holiday is another great way to get abroad and start experiencing other countries. We wanted to highlight just a few resources for you before we go into the spotlights on each of our countries. We have already mentioned about ERNA as an association of the universities who have staff based here in North America. Each of the countries that we're featuring today has a great website featuring studying in their country. There is also information about using your federal student loans abroad, and NACAC has a helpful guide on international admissions with a section on each of the countries listed. We're now going to go into each of the countries, and be sure if you have any questions to pop them into the chat, and then we'll be answering them at the end for the session. So let's start down in Australia. Australia is about the size of the United States with only 26 million people, most living on the coast, a very multicultural country of immigrants, meaning it's welcoming and diverse. You're probably thinking of Australia in terms of our animals, whether they are the cute or the scary ones, or really stunning vistas and an opera house. But we're also the country that has the oldest living society in the world and really modern cities. And Australia has given the world Wi-Fi, the bionic ear, the secret ballot, and our universities, there's 43 of them, and they are overwhelmingly public. They are very large by US standards. And on average, we have 25% international students, meaning we're very attuned to having your needs. And I think it's a real hallmark that for such a small country, so many of our universities feature in the global rankings as centers of excellence. Looking at the different academic systems, our degrees are only 3 years. That's very standard. There might be an option to extend to a 4th year for honors research or combine dual degrees of 4 or 5 years. Some Australian universities will allow you to do a professional degree, say like medicine, vet, engineering, law at the undergraduate level. Most Australian universities don't have a general education requirement, so it does help to be a bit more focused, knowing what you want to study in advance. We do admissions very differently. It's very objective. It's going to be based on, say, your grades and a test score, like an SAT or ACT or IB scores. And it's rare to ask for like an interview or personal statement or references. Gap years are a lot more common, and we also do financial aid from the US, but scholarships tend to be merit-based. It's different down under. Our seasons are opposite. Our academic year starts in February and March. Most of our degrees give you the flexibility to start in either semester because we do orientation every semester. And my advice is just that when you're applying to universities in the US, it's just when you start might be a bit different. We tend to have fewer assessments that count for a lot. So we want people who are independent, proactive learners, but we're going to have orientation and all of the support services for academic and well-being to help you thrive as a student. You're not required to live on campus, but there's lots of options. Just to confuse you, we call dormitories colleges. There's also student apartments, off-campus housing, all the clubs and societies, sports and volunteering you'd have at a US university. What we don't have are fraternities and sororities, or let's all go watch the big game on Friday night. We talked about a favorable exchange rate, having only 3-year degrees. We do scholarships based only on academic achievement. You can work part-time to help finance your living costs. Your health insurance is going to be a savings compared to the US. Looking at the University of Melbourne, we are regarded as Australia's leading university, established in 1853, large, public, comprehensive. We're regarded as an Australian version of an Ivy League, or say UC Berkeley, who are some of our exchange partners in the US. Very comprehensive with about 150 options of majors and minors, and you can explore our degrees, which we call courses, and to look at also entry requirements for those. You're doing all of this in Melbourne, the city 7 times voted the most livable city in the world, famous for its sports, its music, its food, and easy access to some really stunning nature. So help come discover the University of Melbourne, Australia. There's 2 of us based in the California office to assist you. I'm now going to stop sharing, and I'll turn it over to Emma in Canada. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen. Just to introduce myself again, my name is Emma. My pronouns are she, her, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about studying your post-secondary education in Canada as a whole, what you can expect from the admissions process, as well as a bit more information specifically about the University of British Columbia, or UBC. So one of the reasons that students from all over the world are attracted to Canada is the outdoors. So we definitely have the ability to adventure both in winter and in summer. For example, in BC, both of our campuses have access to water and water sports, whether that's on Lake Okanagan at our Okanagan campus or on the Pacific Ocean at our Vancouver campus. We also have easy access to mountains for hiking and mountain biking in the summer, and then skiing and snowboarding in the winter, as well as snowshoeing. So really, the ability for all seasons adventuring is definitely a draw to Canada for many international students. We also have a lot of culture. So you might be familiar with poutine, Tim Hortons, or ketchup chips, some iconic brands here for you as well as some pop culture icons. We've got Drake, Justin Bieber, Ryan Reynolds, etc. So you might be familiar with these folks in terms of figuring out Canada, but on a more serious note, we definitely have multiculturalism built into our values in Canada as a whole, and definitely will give you that global outlook. For example, in Vancouver, about half of the people living in Vancouver were actually born outside of Canada. So if having kind of a global perspective and being exposed to people from all over the world is important to you, Canada is a great place to study and to find that global community. Talking a little bit about our universities, we have 97 public universities or post-secondary institutions. 3 of them are ranked within the world's top 40, including UBC. Another thing to note is that a lot of research happens at Canada's public universities. About 1/3 of the research conducted in Canada overall is at our universities, and you'll see this translate into a lot of primary research opportunities at the undergraduate level, which is extremely valuable and quite unique. A little bit about your career and postgrad opportunities. I like to highlight the Cooperative Education Program, or the co-op program. This is pretty unique to Canada. In this program, students will alternate full-time study and full-time work semesters, and those work semesters are in full-time paid internships in your area of study or the industry you intend to pursue after graduation. So this is a great way to get some relevant full-time work experience on your CV before you even graduate. And that translates into about 90% of co-op graduates receiving a job offer within a month of graduation. While you're a student, you can generally, on a study permit, work about 20 hours a week during the study terms and full-time during the summers. And then whenever you finish a 4-year degree at any Canadian university, you're eligible for a 3-year post-graduation work permit that allows international students to stay in the country and work in any job or industry they prefer. That's a great way to build on those connections and networks you've made during university and really start your career there. As well, many people will achieve permanent residency by the end of those 3 years, which is the next step towards citizenship, which is also a draw for many international students. In terms of admissions requirements across Canada, the most important factor for all of our universities will be your academic performance, especially your final 2 years of high school. Some universities, including UBC, may ask for supplementary information such as a personal profile, which is a series of short answer questions, maybe a video interview or portfolio, but some universities will not require this and they will base solely on your academic performance. And then letters of recommendation are generally not required from Canadian universities with some exceptions. I'll focus in a little bit on UBC. So first, I would like to acknowledge the land on which our UBC campuses are situated, as well as the land that each of us is joining from today. Our UBC Okanagan campus acknowledges and appreciates the customs and traditions of the Syilx Okanagan Nation. And UBC Vancouver is located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam people. Now, this is a land acknowledgement, something you will become much more familiar with if you come to study in Canada. This is a way that we start out every presentation, gathering, and event as a way to acknowledge colonialism in Canada as part of our ongoing reconciliation efforts and part of our relationships with the Indigenous host nations where we're located. I'm happy to answer any more questions about this at the end of the presentation as well. But let's talk a little bit about academic excellence at UBC. So for some context, there are over 25,000 universities worldwide, and UBC is consistently ranked within the top 40 research universities. So again, as I mentioned earlier, you'll have a lot of opportunities to conduct primary research at the undergraduate level, which is so valuable in adding to your career, or whether you want to go on and do a graduate degree. This is really important and a really valuable experience. I wanted to highlight some of our programs here. We have very popular programs in business, engineering, and the sciences, as well as international economics, international relations, anything internationally focused as well. But we also offer some very unique and niche programs such as sustainability, natural resource conservation, food, nutrition, and health, and forestry programs as well. So we have over 260 majors. So I really encourage you to explore the programs we offer on our website to see which ones might be of interest to you. And as I mentioned, we do have 2 campuses. So our Vancouver campus is maybe the more well-known one for many of you, and this is as well our older campus. This is located in the city of Vancouver on the Pacific Coast, and we have about 46,000 undergraduate students at this campus. So this is a quite large self-contained campus community. If some people might prefer a mid-sized campus as well as a mid-sized city to live in, our Okanagan campus is a great option. This is a newer campus located in the city of Kelowna in the interior of BC, and this campus has about 11,000 undergraduate students. So this will give you more of that mid-sized campus experience. No matter which campus you choose, you'll receive the same high quality education, the same degree recognition worldwide. So it's more of a choice of kind of your experience and which campus, which size is a better fit for you. So if you think that UBC and studying in Canada sounds like it would be a good fit for you, the first step would be very exploratory on your part. So that's thinking about which campus would better fit your lifestyle, which degree programs you're interested in, and checking the requirements to ensure that you've taken any prerequisites for the specific programs you're interested in studying. Then you will submit your online application between September of this year and January 15th of 2023. And follow up after that by uploading your supporting documents, such as your transcript, by March 15th. Please feel free to email me if you have any specific questions about UBC. I'll put my email in the chat. And at this time, I'll pass it on to my colleague, Shannon.
Hi, everyone. I am going to share my screen. Welcome. I am Shannon with University College Dublin. I'm the regional lead for our North America team. We do have 6 North America representatives spread across the United States to assist you with questions that you may have about the application process. I represent here today Ireland, a fantastic choice for where you may study internationally in the future. Ireland is home to 13 different universities, and Ireland, apologies for the noise, is a great visa-free entry option for anyone that is a North American citizen. So whether you're coming from the US or Canada, you are able to enter Ireland and study as a full-time student without the additional obstacle of a visa. We have highly desired qualifications, employability. Dublin is known in many circles as the Silicon Valley of Europe. Many Fortune 500 companies would be located in Dublin. Academics in Ireland give you many options. We have direct entry, allowing you to study exactly what you would like to study at university without general education requirements. And we also have some flexibility between 3- and 4-year degree options. If you're looking at clinical programs, we have opportunities for medicine, law, veterinary medicine, and physiotherapy, all at the undergraduate level. Tuition in Ireland is a out-of-state public university type of rate. We do accept federal aid options. Living costs would be similar to major cities in the United States. The average cost of academic year tuition is around $37,000. The application process does vary throughout the Irish universities. There is not one single common application. You would have to apply to each Irish university individually, but we are test flexible and require a high school transcript. Scholarships are in abundance for our international students. We're very welcoming to international students, and all of our scholarships are based on academic merit. So the stronger your application, usually the stronger the scholarship offering. And I am here representing University College Dublin, Ireland's global university. We are one of the largest urban campuses in Europe, as well as one of the oldest in Ireland. That is giving you as a student both the experience of urban living, as we are located in the city, but just outside the major city center. We have about 19,000 undergraduate students and ranked in the top 1% of higher education institutions worldwide. All of our first year undergraduate students are guaranteed to live on campus if they would wish in single room accommodations. You do get your own room in some of our state-of-the-art facilities, and over 4,000 students live on campus. Life on campus would be very similar to an institution in the US with all the amenities that you're used to seeing: a swimming pool, a sauna, a gym, climbing walls, clubs and societies in abundance to get involved in. I do say that we have most of the sports that you would be looking for. Ireland has not yet caught up with the drive for ice hockey, if that's something that you are passionate about. As far as undergraduate programs, UCD does offer over 70 different honor degree courses in various areas of study, from architecture and arts to law and medicine and veterinary medicine. One of the programs that does stand out at University College Dublin amongst other Irish institutions would be our Liberal Arts and Sciences program. This is a 4-year program that allows a student to come in undecided. Now, there's still no general education requirements, so you do have to have some focus of what you would like to study, but it gives you flexibility to choose what it will be your major or your program course after year 1. Admissions, you can apply to University College Dublin via the Common Application or directly on our website. Applications will open October 1st, and priority deadline is December 1st for our undergraduate academic scholarships. UCD and other Irish institutions all accept US federal aid, and that would be all of the subsidized and unsubsidized loans, but we are unable to accept Pell Grants. We do hope that you'll stay in touch and ask any questions. Again, UCD, University College Dublin, has 6 team members across the US, so there may be someone in your area that I can connect you to directly. Thank you very much, and I'm going to pass you over.
Great, thank you. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. So again, my name is Annually. I am representing the University of Manchester, and differently from my other colleagues today, I'm going to be representing 4 countries today. So I'm representing the United Kingdom, and I'm sure we all know this, but just to give an introduction so everyone's on the same page, I just want to highlight the UK, which is England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. So some quick differences between them. As you can see here, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, we differ academically from Scotland in that we have 3-year degrees where students are selecting one subject to study, and then they have the opportunity to do a dual or joint honors or work placement or study abroad, which might take their program from 3 years to 4 years. And then in Scotland, they are studying 4-year degrees. They can do 3 subjects in year 1, 2 subjects in year 2, and then they have to focus on that one subject for year 3 and 4. They also have the opportunity for dual or joint honors, but the biggest difference here is 3 years or 4 years. So why study in the UK? There are lots of reasons, starting with competitive fees. As you've heard from all of my colleagues, it can be a cheaper experience to study abroad than it is to study here in the US. Particularly for England, Northern Ireland, and Wales, because we are 3 years, even if you are getting comparable tuition fees, you would be paying for 3 years versus 4. So already that makes it cheaper. The UK is one of the world's leading destinations for international students. So we have international students from everywhere. We have a lot of diversity in a lot of our institutions in the UK. So you'll find that diversity placed at very likely in your universities, of course, the city universities especially. So we have our 3-year undergraduate degrees, but we also have our 1-year master's degrees. So if you are doing a 3-year undergraduate at any of the 3 countries and you tagged on a master's degree, you'd be doing 4 years of school and coming out with your undergraduate and your master's versus your colleagues or your classmates here in the US who might be doing 4 or 5 years still trying to figure out their undergraduate. So it's really good to speed up time and to just focus in on the subject that you want to study. Again, you still have the option for study abroad or placement. What we're probably most known for is not having general education. And this is a big one for students who typically go to university to figure out what they want to study by taking a multitude of classes. The UK might not be the best option for that type of student because we focus in on just that one subject. So if you know what you want to study, the UK is a great place to go, because you apply directly into that program. And if you are just a lover of math, you never have to read another history book. You never have to read another literature book. You don't have to write any poetry. You can just go in, do your math, and get out. Another great reason is the gateway to Europe. So there's a lot of places that you can get to right from the UK. The UK is a great destination to get you into Europe anywhere you want to go. There's a lot of direct flights from a lot of cities in the UK, and you can get there quite cheaply on a direct flight to a different country. There's a great benefit from the UK degree into the US job market. They are very familiar with UK institutions. And so having that experience in the UK and then transferring over to the US often gives you an edge over other students who haven't had the opportunity to study abroad, just because you've put yourself in a challenging position and employers will absolutely recognize that you've done that. We also have an employability and graduate immigration route. So for students who study in the UK, so anywhere in the UK, you can get a 2-year work visa once you graduate, and that lets you stay in the UK for up to 2 years working. You don't even have to have a professional job. You can work at any job. So if you decided to, be a waitress, you could still do that for 2 years. And so this means if you're studying in England and you decide for 2 years, you want to study in Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland, you can absolutely move anywhere around the UK and work. There's a lot of flexibility for both single and joint combined honors. So we have highly specialized degrees, as I mentioned. And even though they are highly specialized, you still have a little bit of room to focus in on something within that subject. We also have a great average on-time completion rate. It's about 94%, anywhere from 94 to 96, depending on where you get that data from. But again, it's a high 90% completion rate, which is always a good sign to know that people are getting in and getting out. So choosing where to study, I love this because students from the US always have these options of where they want to study, and they think they might not have the same options in the UK. The UK is very vast. The same way we have cities here in the US, we have cities in the UK. The same way we have countryside in the US, we have countryside in the UK. So you have all types of areas to study if location is really important to you. But what I like to focus most on is, do they do your course? The UK is very subject specific because you're applying directly into that degree. So you have to make sure that the university you're choosing has the program, because you're not actually applying to the university, you're actually applying to the program. So do they have your course? And then you can go through a list of choosing where to study by some of these options that I've shown you on the screen, but I like to point out a couple. Distance from home. I know this can be really important. And what's great about the UK is it's not that big. So if you're flying from somewhere in the US, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, somewhere in the middle, you can often find a direct flight to direct entry into the UK from the US, which is really nice. You might have to fly within the US if you're not in a popular city, but typically if you go to a bigger city in the US, you can get a direct flight straight to the UK, and that's really nice. So if it's London, if it's Edinburgh and Scotland, Belfast, you can get direct flights, and it's really convenient. Another one I'd like to point out is the accommodation. This is something for students. Of course, if you're going anywhere abroad, you want to know about your living accommodation. And in the UK, accommodation is single occupancy. So you'll never have, a forced triple, or, you don't have a roommate or forced quad like I had when I went to school in the US. You have your own room and you have your own space. And that's how you go about your 3 or 4 years in the UK. And that's a really nice experience. Again, there's other options. You can take a picture of this. I can send this to you. But just thinking about choosing where to study, the UK has so many options for students. We have over 150 higher education institutions, and they're all a little bit different. What's also really nice about the UK is that we have one application system. So unlike the US, where we have multiple application systems, and then sometimes schools have their own application system, there's only one in the UK, and it's called UCAS. UCAS manages all the higher applications, all the higher ed applications in the UK, all of them, across all 4 countries, all of them. Every school you apply to via the UCAS. So what's great about this is you only fill it out once, and then you can send it out to all the schools that you've applied for. It's also a good resource for students. UCAS is also the place where you can go and research schools, you can research programs. It's unbiased. They're not favorable to any particular institution. They just give the information, and you can go on there and use it as a guide and talk to your parents and share with your parents what you've learned about UK institutions. Some really particular things about the UCAS that are of note. Of course, it's an online form, but you can only choose up to 5 choices. So that's anywhere in the UK. So if you decide to apply to a program in England, and one in Scotland, and one in Northern Ireland, and one in Wales, you can absolutely do that. It's the same form, and you have up to 5 choices. If you decide to apply to medicine, dentistry, or veterinary science, you can only have 4 choices, and then the 5th choice can be anything. In the UK, some of our programs are undergraduate programs that would be considered postgraduate programs here in the US. For example, medicine. Medicine is an undergraduate program, so it's direct entry from high school to medicine. So is dentistry, so is law, so is veterinary science. It's direct entry from high school straight into that program. If you're thinking about applying to Oxbridge, which is Oxford or Cambridge, we call Oxbridge, you can only apply to one of them. So it's either Oxford or Cambridge. You can't apply to both of them. If you did apply to both of them, your entire application would be voided. So be careful about selecting which one you want to apply to. The cost is pretty straightforward, £22 if you decided to apply to one. If you change your mind and want multiple, $26.50, you would only pay the difference, which is $4.50. It's a typical application. As you know, several sections will be filled in by you and your school or college. But what's nice about this is you only have to fill it out once, and then it's sent on your behalf by UCAS to the 5 choices that you've selected. A little bit about student life in the UK. It's vibrant. It's exactly what you would expect of student life to be. There are vibrant cities and student communities. Again, it depends on where you're going, but you have all of these opportunities within the UK if you select a certain institution. There's international welcome weeks. So the UK has a large history of welcoming international students, so you never have to worry about what that welcome is going to be like. They've thought of everything. You're going to be fine. You're going to be settled. They have all these opportunities for you there. There's sports, there's societies, there's academic support. I'm not really going to talk too much about the student life, but I just wanted to highlight that it does exist in the UK. It's full of history and culture. There's so much history and culture in the UK, whether it's, castles in Scotland or, UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Northern Ireland. We've got it all. There's arts, there's music, there's food, there's drink, there's people representing their nations from all over the world. So UK is definitely a diverse destination. And finally, the employability. As I mentioned earlier, UK degrees, they're recognized around the world by employers. You don't have to worry about getting a UK degree and then trying to transfer it back. People have heard of your university because the UK has really great universities. We have industrial placements, which is basically when you're studying a program, you can take a break for 1 year and actually work a full-time job that relates to your degree. So if you're a marketing student, you can take a break between your 2nd year and your 3rd year and work a full year in a marketing program. So it's a full-time job as a marketing, whatever the job is. You do that for 1 year and then you can come back and you can finish your final year. There's opportunities for networking with employers and graduates. There's study abroad, even though you're already studying abroad. If you wanted to study abroad again, that is obviously available to you. You have exchange opportunities. There's opportunity to learn different languages. Again, you're in the UK, very close to Europe. So if you wanted to travel some more and wanted to focus on the language, that is an option to you as well. And the post-study work visa, which I mentioned, is a great opportunity to get that work experience. So if we're looking at the University of Manchester, my school is Manchester in England. So if you're not already familiar with England, London is the largest city in England and Manchester is the 2nd largest city in the UK. I believe it's Manchester, England, Glasgow, but don't quote me. We have a population of 41,000 students, 28,000 are undergraduate students. So we are the largest single site institution in the UK. That just means all of our academic buildings and our students are together on one very big campus versus a lot of schools you'll see in London where they'll have a campus on this side of London and another campus on the other side of London. We're just one big single site institution. 29% of our students are from outside the UK and EU, and they represent about 160 countries. So we have a long history of welcoming students from abroad, including North America. We always have about 700 North American students with us at a time. We have an absolutely fantastic academic experience for students. On the listed here, 2021 QS World Rankings, we're 27th in the world, we're 6th in the UK and 8th in Europe. So we're a fantastic institution, also a Russell Group institution. Russell Group is the UK's version of the Ivy League. There's 24 institutions that are part of the Russell Group in the UK. So from all over, all the 4 countries. Our 3 faculties, so think of our 3 mini schools within the big school. It's the Faculty of Biology, Medicine, and Health, our Faculty of Humanities, which also houses our business school, and then our Faculty of Science and Engineering. So with these 3 schools, we have over 300 undergraduate programs. So the list is quite endless. We have 25 Nobel Prize winners. I guess most notable for us is Ernest Rutherford first split the atom at Manchester. So if you're into physics, you might know that fact already. And we have the world's first stored program electronic digital computer built at Manchester, nicknamed Baby. That might be something if you're interested in computer science, you might know that fact as well. We're the #1 most targeted UK university by top employers. And this just means we have fantastic partnerships with global employers. So think IBM, AstraZeneca, Deloitte, all these big companies, we have partnerships with them where they come and recruit our students. They know the academic experience our students are having and they do recruit them. Lastly, I'll mention that we have over 500,000 alumni from 190 countries out there in the world, studying a whole bunch of subjects, working in a whole bunch of fields, doing great work. So that's a great community that we get to leverage from for our current students who are about to graduate and go out into the world. I will end my slide there, but I do want to say if you have popped some questions in the Q&A, we will answer that for you live.
I don't think we have any questions currently up, but maybe I can throw one to the group. Can I ask, what is one thing that you would like students to remember about your specific institution? Or we can also say in this context about the country you're representing.
Great question. Maybe we'll go in country alphabetical order. So for Australia, for University of Melbourne, I'd like to share the story about our underground car park, which has this very ornate entrance, and it's very futuristic, modern on the inside, where things like Mad Max movies and MasterChef Australia have been filmed. So I think to me, it's a real symbol of this, prestigious old university. That if you go underground and it's current, it's modern. So come explore and don't worry about the spiders and snakes. They're not going to bite you. No one's died in like the last 50 years from any kind of spite. So come visit to Australia, maybe over to Canada and UBC.
Thanks. One thing I'd like to highlight is the global nature of a UBC education, which is very representative of Canada in general. There are so many opportunities to connect with peers and professors from all over the world, take globally focused classes on both of our UBC campuses, as well as studying abroad in an exchange type of environment, completing co-op placements in other countries as well, studying with professors in international locations, and conducting research abroad. So there's a ton of opportunities to gain even more international experience. Speaking personally, when I was an undergraduate student, I had the opportunity to conduct research in Ethiopia for a few weeks, which was part of a fourth year class that I was taking. So if global type of issues and engagement is really important to you, I would definitely say UBC is a place where you can get that international engagement.
Academically, I think one of the things that sets University College Dublin apart, certainly from some institutions in Europe, but also from Ireland in particular, is that liberal arts and sciences program that you can come in with some idea of what you would like to study, but you're not declared into that major right at the time of application. So you can certainly apply to as many programs as you would like, but you do have that flexibility coming in. However, if you did come into University College Dublin in one of the direct entry courses, you would have some more challenging obstacles in the way to change that major. So it's nice to have that flexibility on the way in. And we also promote four-year programs for the opportunity to go further abroad. Now, many of you would be going abroad already for your degree, but it would be opening doors for you to go further abroad again into Europe or other parts of the world to complete degree or internships.
I will quickly just go to the question that's in the chat. There was a question about the rough percentage of applicants that each of us get from the US. And I will just say for the UK, we are not actually just applying to the university, you're applying to the program. So some programs see a higher volume than other programs. So I don't actually have a percentage for that because we have over 300 programs. And so they have to calculate each program, how many applicants they get, but maybe the other schools have a quick answer.
At Melbourne, the community of students coming from the US and doing their degree is probably only several dozen, but we have probably several hundred Americans coming for a semester of study abroad or exchange. So there is a larger American community to tap in, so that they won't just be just that. That's for Melbourne and Australia in general.
For UBC, Again, it's based on programs similar to what Annalie was saying. So we have about 25 to 30% of students coming from outside of Canada, and the US students represent one of the largest within the top 5 groups of international students we're receiving. So I would say at least a couple of hundred every year of American students will be starting each year.
Well, thank you for joining us today. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. We encourage you to check the schedule and sign up for more sessions today and throughout the rest of this week. You'll be able to find this session's recording, as well as all of the other session recordings at strivescan.com/launch. Thank you again.